Hello, hello. How we doing? Welcome to Movement Monday with Ray and Ryan. I'm Ryan. That's my buddy Ray. We're trying something a little different today, but we'll see how it goes. How you doing, Ray?
I'm doing all right. About yourself?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. You getting ready for the holiday season coming up? Real fast.
Definitely. I think we're pretty close to ready. I think we're probably more prepared this year than we have been in past years, so that's always a good thing. So, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I feel like I'm a little more ahead of the game this year than normal, but still feel that little like it's almost here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was at the gym this morning, and she said, we're less than a week away from Christmas. I'm like, so, so then I was like, oh, okay. So, or she said just about a week to Christmas or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. In the back of your head, it's coming, but then you're like, oh, it's like right here. Like I felt the same thing about Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Exactly. No, you reflect on it a lot as we get older, and I think you're probably alluding to the same thing. Is that you hear your parents and the older generation. I'll say, well, time flies. Before you know it, you're at it. Another year's happened, and then all of a sudden you start to get to that age. You're like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. Oh, it's Christmas now. So you're like, where has the time gone? So
Yeah,
so I feel that 100%. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, since we're
Yeah.
kind of ending or approaching the end of the year, we were talking a little bit before kicking this off about reflecting on the year. Why don't you get us going on that down that path?
Alrighty. Well, yeah. So, coming up at the end of the year, there's a lot of people look forward to what's coming in the new year, and new year, new you, me. You hear that a lot, and I've actually mentioned it probably a few times in our last few sessions here. But one thing that folks don't typically do, and that would be beneficial to anybody's journey, their movement journey, their fitness journey, their health journey, their diet, is to reflect on what you've accomplished. And as we round the end of the year, my thought process is kind of to reflect on the things that I've accomplished over the year, and encourage other folks to do it. Because for me personally, this was probably a banner year where I've done more actively than I have done, I'm gonna say, ever. Either that or I recorded it a lot better. Because I just have, well, I made a point of trying to get stickers for my water bottle throughout the year for things that I've done to accomplish, and just kind of a reminder of how much stuff, and I don't have a lot of space left in my water bottle. Unfortunately, I also don't have a lid for my water bottle anymore because my dogs thought it looked tasty. So it's now a souvenir water bottle that just has my stickers on it. And luckily, it was within the last week or so, so it's not like I'm missing out, not able to continue to put items on it, but or stickers on it. So but for me, looking back, we have our handful of challenges that Orange Theory puts on, that I participate in all of them. I'm big on walking the walk, if I'm talking the talk, and jumping in there, and getting my hands dirty with the members. And so I do every challenge that I can do, every benchmark that works out for my schedule and whatnot. So there's a lot of that, but there's also a lot of outside things that that we've done. You and I did the Spartan race. I did a handful of 5Ks. Did my first 5K with Cruz, and then a second, and then a third. And so it's just been a year of a lot of accomplishments, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So I know that there's a lot of folks that may not fully have reflected on it, but it's a good time to kind of look back and say, you know what, I did this year. Next year, I either want to keep it going, I want to get better, I want to do more, or even, maybe my body hurts. That's probably a lot. I can't be doing this every year. So, but it's also, it's also an understanding of, does your body hurt because you're sore and it's good, or does your body hurt because you're overdoing it and you're not recognizing that, maybe you're doing a little bit too much for your body, because you don't want to beat your body up so much that you can't, you know that it's impossible to keep going and keep building on what you're doing. So I know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I absolutely take some time to look back at the year, and see all the things you've accomplished, even if it's small things, that's still an accomplishment.
Mhm.
Maybe you didn't quite hit your goal, but you've made progress towards it, and that's something to be celebrated and um, acknowledged. And keep if you didn't meet that goal, keep that goal there and keep working towards it. If you did meet goals, set new ones. Raise the bar a little higher, and start now, but going into the next year, you know, push the envelope a little more if you can. But yeah,
Yeah.
celebrate those little things to to feel good about the progress that you are making. Because sometimes we don't often take note of ourselves. We'll look at other people a lot and be like, oh, they're doing great, but we don't a lot of times look in the mirror and say, hey, you're doing good too. So I think that's super important. And like you said, take care of your body. That's another thing we were talking about. There's 3 or 4 of us at the gym that I go to that we're talking about. This last week, a lot of our workouts were 1 rep, working up to a heavy PR in some of these lifts, and some of us were like, I don't need to do that right now because I don't want to take the chance of re-injuring old injuries and stepping back and, like you just said, not being able to do anything at all. So it's kind of a check your ego at the door, and you can do what feel you need to do, and that you can feel okay with that. You don't have to go put up huge numbers to feel good about yourself. You can still do lighter weight, more reps, or just a lighter weight for a single rep, and still feel good about yourself at the end of the day. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. That I think that y'all aren't alone. Of course, there was a handful of you together talking about the same thing, but as I chat with people more in the fitness industry and whatnot, or even seeing people online and on the pages that I follow and whatnot, it gets a lot more focused on reflecting on on where you're at and where you're going, and adjusting accordingly. I know we've had discussions about that, about adjusting for your age, but as you get older, you have to slow it down a bit. You may not be as strong. Yes, if you be consistent and you've done it continuously for years on end, you're going to continue to be that strong. But it's a tough adjustment. If you were super strong or super athletic in your 20s, and then you take your 30s off and then try to come back in your 40s, you're not the same person. Your body is built different than it was before, and it needs to be a reflection of how much am I putting in and how much do I need to put in. You don't have to put all of that effort in like you did in your 20s, to try to look all slim and fit like you did. Their life's different. I mean, you can put all the effort in, and definitely, but it's going to take a little bit harder, or a little bit longer, a little bit harder to get to that point, because again, your body just reacts differently. You eat different foods. It's just there's it's a lot easier when you're a single under 25 person to go have chicken and broccoli for 3 to 5 meals a day for 6 weeks on end and be like, this is what I eat. But if you get into life, and you have a wife and you have kids, say, maybe, or wherever your significant other, maybe, it's your living partner, it's going to affect things, and how that works. And so it's a reflection of again, celebrating who you were at that, recognizing that, but understanding um, how you're supposed to adjust, or how you should be adjusting your mindset and your expectations for yourself as you get older, because building strength is important, but like you said, do I need to be pushing myself to higher PRs in my mid 40s. I don't know. I mean, it's fun. There's there's a point where challenge yourself, but also within reason. So
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to be smarter about it is kind of how I'm looking at it. I mean, I still want to do that. I still want to push myself, but it's finding that fine line of, okay, we've hit that spot where we're still getting it good, but okay, now we're getting into that realm of, okay, this maybe doesn't feel as good, and we could be potentially at the spot where we could take steps backwards. And so it's kind of hard to walk that fine line sometimes, especially with, kind of the mindset we have where we're competitive, and if somebody else is doing this, and I know in my head before I've been able to do that, hey, you can go do that. Well, that was 20 years ago. I don't,
yeah.
I maybe could still do it now, but is it worth the risk? And so I'm
Yeah.
learning to say no to some of that stuff.
And that's a hard thing to learn, but it's also the strength in the mindset, as well as the strength of the physical body is knowing, what's the smart decision and what's going to make it to where you can still come back tomorrow if you want to come back tomorrow. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
we have, you triggered another thought. We have an older member that comes in and, nice older lady. And she comes in and she had some injuries recently, and she's dealt with some medical issues and whatnot. And we start each one of our classes by walking into the lobby and giving an introduction as the coach. And typically it ends with, if you have any exercise restrictions or orthopedic limitations, please be sure to that I'm aware. Um, because we want folks, we don't want to push people too hard, push them beyond what they can do, or feel like they're being judged because a lot of people, they if they feel like they're looking weak, they're like, well, the coach is going to think that I'm not doing I'm not doing it right. So that it's important that your coaches know that you have some things going on. And with her, she even she's like, well, I'm not going to run very fast today, or I'm not able to lift that heavy weights. I'm like, okay, like, that heavy weights is your choice. It's not me telling you. I can tell if you're struggling or not, but also, she at one point she took a few months off because she was going through some treatment, and I don't think it was, I don't know if it was cancer treatment. I can't recall, but I know it was treatment of some sort that was weakening to her body. And not only that, she was not in there anymore, so she had a little bit of chance for her muscles to kind of cut back a bit. And she comes back, I'm so sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm like, you're here, you're working at it. Like, that's the thing, is you're showing up, do what you can do, but also don't overdo it, because you can't jump right back in where you left off. Like your body just doesn't work that way. It has to be consistent in order for that weight to stay consistent. And if there's something that's out of your control that takes you out for a couple months, start back up. Don't let it be the end all be all. Good for you for coming back in here, but also understand that you have to work your way back into it. And you may not be as strong as you were before. You've put your body through some things that, that wasn't your choice. And so react accordingly and celebrate the wins and continue to build the strength. Maybe you'll pick up 5 pounds heavier next time. Maybe you'll have to work with this one for another, week, month, whatever. But you're here, you're building, and you're only getting stronger, and you're only doing yourself a favor by trying to work through it, rather than, and it sounds sensitive to say, but, rather than staying at home and feeling sorry for yourself, because getting there and getting the movement going is definitely going to help you recover faster and help you get back to, closer to where you were before, even if you don't get all the way back there. So,
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
she's super inspiring. And I mean, anytime she has any issues that come up, she always finds an alternative way to keep herself moving. And I'm just like, good for you. Like, she's very dedicated to making sure that she doesn't just sit around, and I dig it. I'm like, I'm hoping that my mindset sticks with me into the later ages, and which I'm sure it will, but there's always that, what if it doesn't? So.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same thing when I after I hurt my back the last time and it was feeling better, but not like good enough to go work out, I still went to the gym and just rode the bike during the class time. Something that
Yeah.
was real easy on my back, but I was still, I wasn't riding hard, just moving my body. And
Yeah.
so just so I could still do something, because, it drove me nuts to have to just sit at home. And even though it was hurting, it drove me nuts to not be
Uh-huh.
able to do something.
Yeah.
So just
No,
going and riding the
and
bike
I get
easy
that.
was. Go ahead.
I don't think that I've shared with you or shared the story here at all, but a couple of years ago, uh, Cruz started out soccer and was super aggressive when he started, and then like I think his third year of soccer, like there was kids coming in that were as aggressive or not, if not more aggressive, on his same team. So he kind of felt like, okay, well maybe I just need to chill out a bit. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like you need to be aggressive. You have to be, you have to take control of the game, of your game, and wherever position you're in, you have to be in control. And so, me being the can doer, the shower, took him out to our little park area in our community here, and I worked with him with the ball, and kind of passed the ball, and I didn't let up, and but I also was like, if you're quicker enough and you went more aggressive, you didn't just let me come to you, I wouldn't have gotten past you with the ball, but because you didn't come to me, you gave me space to move, and I was trying to teach a lesson. Well, I threw my back out and working through this and trying to show, I think he was 6 or 7 at the time, and tried to throw it, and I couldn't walk for a week straight. Like every time I got out of bed, it was very much of an effort to stand up straight, and it was just, and that was a quick reflection of, well, he moves that fast. Also, you need to find different ways to try to show him your point, because um, you don't play soccer, like so, and it was a quick and easy reminder of be smart about your decisions, and how much are
Yeah.
you going to hurt yourself by trying to make moves that you don't normally move, and so it's like, all right, well, lesson learned. I'll think twice before I do that again, and or maybe I'll bring one of my nephews in to help. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the quick eye-opening experience.
Exactly. Well, and in this, the reflections, and the recognizing what you can't do when you can do, like I said earlier, kind of goes also with your nutrition and even your supplementation. Like, I've recognized that, you hear different things in different times of your life that hit your mind differently. Like, things like creatine, that you talk about when you're in your younger years. You hear that a lot, hear that a lot. Well, as you get into your older age, people don't talk about that type of thing anymore, because it's not so much about, the appearance of what you're going for. It's more of about, being fit and ready to go.
Mhm.
And so just little things like that. I've reflected lately a little bit about, the supplements that we do take, and I always, I'm gonna take a multivitamin. I have for years on end, and so I'm grateful for our patches that we get that in that form. But even the CD is going to help, because our bodies hurt more, and so it helps hush those aches and pains. It's not an end all be all, but it helps. And just our other products, even with the weight management products, to help us. Sometimes we get a little bit out of control, and I don't use them year round, but I do use them in bouts to help, get myself back under control if and when I need to. And, I try to do the challenges that I can with Innovative as much as I can. But, it's a reflection of knowing what I did over this past year, what my body didn't do, and then reflecting on, is it because I ate wrong? Is it because I was drinking things that I shouldn't have been drinking at certain times? Is it the heavier sugar drinks that I need to take out? And and that's kind of, I made the decision to not indulge in sugary drinks throughout the holidays, which I typically am all about celebrating, through December with the drinks that are heavy in sugar. But I'm like, I can't do that to myself. I already have a hard enough time saying no to the sweets, which I know you can relate to.
Mhm.
So, but I've had, my wife and I are both in industries that people bring you sweets, and it's like, well, it's rude to say no. So, I had some of the most delicious almond roca that I think I've probably ever had. It was so good, and it's like, okay, I can't keep indulging on this, but it's also a decision of, I work hard so I can have the periodic indulging, and so, um, but it's also reflecting on, knowing what your body can do and what it can't do, and what it can fix and what it can handle, and reacting accordingly. And so, in a reflection of what the year was, looking at, where you were at, but also looking at pictures. Looking back at the year, it seems kind of cheesy and cliche, but you can see differences in your face and in your body if you have, full length pictures and whatnot, if you've taken those pictures. And so that's, we talk a lot about, when you're starting a new challenge, take a picture of yourself, even if it's just to store on your phone in a hidden album. Nobody else has to see it, but it's so important for you to be able to reflect on what you look like at the beginning, or what you look like at the end, because you didn't stick with it, and you need a reminder of where it was at. There's times where I can go back and look at different years and different periods of my life. I'm like, ooh, don't want to look like that again, or, oh, how did I get there that time? Because we don't always take, detailed notes on where we're at and why we were there, because um, most of the time we're thinking, well, I can still do better. I haven't reached my best yet. So, but you don't know when it's going to stop growing, or when you're going to fall off. If you fall off, it could happen. And so it's important to be able to document that throughout your whole process for reflection.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's I think it's a necessity to take those pictures or look back at those pictures, because like you said, you can tell a difference. And
Mhm.
and a lot of people that are looking at you every day, they can see it, and they a lot of them will say, hey, you're looking great, what are you doing? But we don't always necessarily see that ourselves, just looking in the mirror some days.
Mhm.
And you can use that to go and improve yourself. Kind of use that as a little bit of motivation. Like you said, hey, I don't want to go back
Yeah.
to that again. I Marie and I were, I think yesterday I sent her, just looking through stuff, and sent her an old picture, and she was like, oh, that picture is terrible. And but it was several months ago, and she's done a lot of hard work and improved on that. And so I was like, yeah, no, you're doing awesome. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think
Well,
we need to reflect on those pictures, old pictures.
mhm. And sometimes it's even, printing them out, or you know somehow getting a representation of it that you can put somewhere that you see on a regular basis, and reflect on it, and know, you can take pictures of celebrities, or other people that you see on social media or whatnot. You don't know what their 100% regimen is, and that can be your goal. That's great, but also to have a goal of what you used to be within reason, because we just talked about that you're not probably going to get back to the same that you were in your 20s if you're in your 40s or later, but it's still a goal. And if you're your own goal, your previous version of yourself as a goal, or you've accomplished within recent years, then you know that's powerful, because that's achievable. But also, it's a different appreciation when you get to that point and you're like, okay, I need to appreciate this more, because I didn't realize that I was in as good of a place now than when I was originally there. And so it's a different kind of a celebration, and a different, appreciation for oneself. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to touch base on before we wrap up?
No, I think that was good. That's good stuff.
Good.
I mean, always reflection's always a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. And also, that's why documentation is important as well, because you need to be able to reflect. So say what you want about social media, but those memories coming up sometimes are the best thing for you. So, or can be the best thing for you. I know that sometimes they're not so good too. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, once again, we're Ray and Ryan, Movement Monday with Ray and Ryan. We are on YouTube, same name, Movement Monday with Ray and Ryan. If you haven't had a chance to check that out yet, please check us out. If you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for joining us. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share, give us a comment. Let us know what you think. We'd love the feedback. If movement and nutrition, fitness, or movement, nutrition, and fitness is a passion of yours, reach out to us. You'd like to be a guest with us, we'd love to have you. We love having guests, especially if it comes organically to folks that have seen what we're doing here. That's a huge compliment. If Ryan and I are both distributors for Innovative Posh, so we have a line of nutritional patches to help with vitamins and supplementation, as well as we have supplements, and we have a line of skincare products, self-care, skincare, and all of that good stuff. So any more information you'd like on that, feel free to reach out to either one of us. Other than that, it's been a great year, and we've got quite a few episodes in, so it's been great, and so we appreciate everybody's support so far. So wanted to say thank you. Drink your water, take your vitamins, get your movement in, and we'll see y'all next year.
Yeah, have a good Merry Christmas, Ray.
Merry Christmas.